Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm with Noelle here. Welcome back to another theory video. I feel like this is less of a theory and more of like a compilation of all the evidence, because I feel like a lot of people probably know and think that the next chapter is going to be the Flower King, but I just wanted to get it all together, and maybe some people didn't know some of the things I'm going to talk about in this video, because there are some things I haven't really seen that much people talk about, with like the Eggman, and even with like something that Malius says in the castle town. So yeah, I'm going to get right into it. Okay, so the first thing is kind of like where this all comes from, and honestly probably the biggest piece of evidence is from the Gerson secret boss. So yeah, I'm gonna get this video from Hollow. Okay, so the first thing that Gerson says is, "Do you ever hear the old tale based on the prophecy?" Yes, the old tale based on the old prophecy, the Lord of the Hammer. And then next he says, Chapter 1, the March of the Dark King. The heroes defeat the king and stop the dragon. And then later in the thing he also says that Susie is the dragon. So they're talking about the king of chapter 1 and them, like, I guess taming Susie, which is the dragon, kind of. And then the next thing he says is the chapter 2, the city of the shining. The heroes do battle in chariots to save the queen. That's talking about chapter 2, obviously, the queen. And I guess the chariot is like her car. I don't really know, like running over all the cars in that one section where you get the banana, I guess. And then chapter 3, the Isles of the Northern Light. The heroes travel amongst the islands and glimpse of a lost land. This is talking about the Northern Light. I still don't really fully understand the Lost Land. I think it might just mean the Ice Palace. And also, Northern Light is a song on the soundtrack that plays in one specific room when you're doing like the sword route. I think people call it the sword route. It's like when you're getting the sword. And then he says, Chapter 4, the Trials of the Hammer. The Great Smith gives the heroes a terrible weapon. So I guess apparently this hammer is a terrible weapon that he's giving us. But yeah, he's literally just straight up talking about himself and talking about the hammer. And then the most interesting and important part is chapter 5, the field of pink and gold. The vast garden is charred in an inferno of jealousy. So I feel like pretty obviously there he's talking about Asgore. There's the field, which is kind of has to do with flowers. And then pink and gold, we'll get into pink and gold in a second. And he says the vast garden is charred in an inferno of jealousy. So he's saying garden, he's saying field, and then he's talking about an inferno of jealousy, which Asgore definitely has because of this next slide. The vast garden is charred in an inferno of jealousy is obviously referring to Toriel and Sans, because Asgore's probably going to be jealous of their relationship. And the pink and gold part, I don't know if it has to do with like his colors that he's wearing or what, but it's also kind of being a theme of like, not really secret bosses, but it's like Friend has it, Spamton has it, and it has it to a certain extent. And I think it might just be like a freedom motif. I'm not really sure what the pink and gold is supposed to represent. I think it honestly could be Gaster, but yeah. Also, the other thing that we get from the Flower King thing is the Flower Man trapped in Asylum, which is from chapter 4. You can find it. It's like a secret little off area, and it literally has Asgore's head from Undertale there with the crown and him looking at the flower. So yeah, it's interesting that it says the Flower Man trapped in Asylum, not in an asylum. It's saying in asylum, so that's really interesting the way it's worded. Okay, so the next piece of evidence that's really interesting is the Eggman, actually, which is its whole own like can of worms. But the first thing he says in his quote-unquote schedule is that on Thursday he goes to sell the donuts, on Friday I toss the leftovers in the dumpster, and on Saturday I let it cool on the windowsill. So the sell the donuts thing is related to the first chapter, Dark World, where there's the bakery, where they're offering donuts at the bakery. And it's interesting because when you get the egg, it teleports you back to this room. Once you go between like the Starwalker room and that darker tree room, it brings you back to the bake sale. So I think that's why that's relevant to the Eggman. And then the room between is room between. That's for chapter 2, where the dumpster, where you do get the thorn ring, by the way. But I don't know if that's relevant or not. I guess that's just the dumpster. That's what he's talking about. And then I let it cool in the windowsill is obviously in chapter 4. You got to walk into that window. It's interesting that it skips 3, like. But I guess because it's taking place overnight, so he has to skip it, and also you're literally getting the egg when he's telling you this, so maybe that's why. And then he says, on Sunday, I harvest the wheat. So again, that connects back to the thing that Gerson said about the field and the garden and being charred in an inferno of jealousy. Again, wheat has to do with growing in gardens. And then I also have this other piece of evidence that I haven't really seen before. Malius doesn't have any new crafting recipes in the castle town, and he says, I realized the forbidden technique gluten intolerance. Because of this, I have not developed any new recipes. If only a true master of bread existed. And then again, he says, on Sunday, I harvest the wheat. So it's interesting that we get that thing from the Eggman saying something about wheat, and then he's saying, "Oh, we need someone who is a master of bread for me to get new crafting recipes." So I don't know if that's just a one-off joke that Toby's making, like, "Oh, I don't want to make any more crafting recipes," because that's kind of what I thought at first. Like, it's just like, "Oh, I don't want to keep updating this," you know. But because the Eggman says I harvest the wheat on Sunday, and the other egg locations have been referring to the Dark Worlds, I feel like this almost has to like line up almost perfectly. And the same thing with Asgore. Like I want Asgore to get screen time. I'm so happy that like it seems like he's probably gonna get screen time because it's like a 99% chance like all of this is connected, and it's like 100% gonna be uh Flower King Dark World next chapter, which is really exciting because there's also like many different themes they can do with it. They can have there's little like comic books on Asgore's TV, which I don't have the pictures, which I probably should have grabbed them, but there's 3 different instances throughout all of Undertale like media. I mean, some of it's in the alarm clock if you know what that is, but where like Asgore gets referred to as Superman or like a superhero, and from like Alphys, because Alphys like gave him the superhero comics in this, like I think she says somewhere. So we could definitely do like some comic book section, which would be really interesting. And then also we have like all the flowers in the middle of the back part of the shop, like the different colored. I wonder if we would get like all the different colored souls battle or something. That'd be interesting. And I also do want to see like an Asgore not holding back fight. I think that would be a really cool thing to see. Also the field of pink and gold, like the first room is pretty pink. I don't know if I'd say gold, but it's kind of, there's a golden flower on the desk, I guess, but I feel like it's more talking about him, I guess. I don't know. But it's still definitely pink, so that's something to think about. But it actually, wait, yeah, I'm stupid. The floor is literally gold. It's literally pink and gold. How did I not see that until now? Okay. Well, yeah, I feel like that helps a lot. The next thing I wanted to show is, if you didn't already know, there's this like sus spot in Noelle's house where Asgore's just like there talking about some weird stuff. So I'm just kind of gonna look at that and just show it off if you guys haven't seen it. This is from Faz Facts. And honestly, I have no idea what any of this means. He's kind of just talking about stuff that we really have no idea. I might skip a little through it because it's kind of slow. I wonder if the kitchen has any treats for me. This first part, he doesn't really say anything much. He's like, no, not now. I can't afford to take a break. Now more than ever, I need to concentrate. I've got to look again. So I think he's referring to Noelle's parents' room, as he goes straight to there, and he's like, we're almost there, aren't we, old friend? I have no idea what kind of old friend he's talking to. There's a katana behind him, like the black katana. It's time for sure. Tori will finally see. See what really happened. That I just wanted to protect everyone. And this time she'll have to believe me. They all will. Then we'll all be a happy family again, won't we? ... It sure is beautiful, isn't it? This black shard, which I don't understand why he has a black shard. That's like from the night when we defeat it in the chapter 3. So I really don't know what he has with that. And that's honestly Carol Knight evidence. I still think it's Death though. I feel like Carol's supposed to be the one throwing us off. But yeah, there's definitely something going on with Asgore that we really don't fully know, but I think we kinda can surmise from what we have. If you go here in chapter 4 and click on his like back door, you can see like corkboards and stuff strung up as like some like sort of detective case. And whenever I first played chapter 4, I thought like, because Asgore and Toriel and Rudy were talking in the church about Asgore and about how he had like some problem that Carol keeps funding, and I thought it was like some like drug thing, but then like I saw that and I'm like, oh, okay, so he's just obsessed with trying to find Des because it was either his fault or he just wants everyone to be happy and like find Des again. So I'm really interested to see like where Asgore gets taken in the story, especially because he had such a minimal part in Undertale, and I'm really glad that Toby is like doing this with Deltarune, like taking Undertale characters and giving them more screen time that they had in Undertale and like fleshing them out more, even if it is like a different universe or however they're connected or whatever. But yeah, I'm really happy that he's gonna be this Dark World because I'm just really excited to see where he's gonna take him as a character and what kind of like fights will be here too. Like comic book would be really cool, and like even the TV in the top right, people are saying like Woody Theory could be real in that sense for that TV, which is really funny. Also, we did put an egg in his fridge, so I wonder if that'll mean anything. But yeah, I guess look out for wheat fields in chapter 5. I can't believe we only have to wait until 2026, that's crazy. But yeah, anyways, I just kind of want to make this video just to put all the information out there if you weren't aware of the stuff that kind of pointed towards this. And one little thing I just want to say is, like, thanks for the support on my last video. That was actually insane. I don't really know what else to say, because, like, I've never had a video get that many views on YouTube. And I feel like it's probably just because I was one of the first people to put out a video about it, but I didn't really say anything that crazy in it other than maybe, like, the Gerson fountain thing, but I don't know, cool that people liked it, I guess. That's why I was kind of making this, to see if that was just a one-off or if people are actually interested. And either way, I don't really care. I think it's pretty cool that I got that many views, but it's whatever. If this one doesn't get that much, I'm just kind of making something to just talk about and see. But yeah, also, if you guys want like a part 2 to that, because there is kind of a lot more that I found after that, especially because, you know, the chapters were so new, I didn't have that much information. But I updated the comment, or not the comment, the description of that video, but I could make a video talking about it if anyone's interested. So if you guys are interested in that, I could make a like follow-up video. And also maybe I can put in some like Carol evidence and try and like disprove it maybe. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment below, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.